So let's talk something about the supernova teams. Why do financial advisors need to be in a team? If I am a good advisor, why not be a lone wolf?
Well, you can be. There's a couple of issues. Teams never go on vacation. Teams never go to lunch. There's always somebody there, and teams never retire either. Just think about it, right? So as you get older in the business, people look at you and go, you know, when are you going to retire? They're interested in succession planning. They may love you, but they love themselves more, and they worry more about themselves. So they worry that somehow if you retire, that they're going to have to find somebody new, or you're going to reassign them to somebody that they don't like. So they worry about that. If you have a team, you know, the team is always there ready to answer questions. If it wasn't one person on the team, it's somebody else. Teams have leverage. Leverage properly used is excellent. Teams, on the negative side, teams can be a place to hide. You know, if you're not very good at what you do, you get on a team and you hide. And usually you can exist there for quite a while before somebody notices that you're not doing anything. So that's the bad part of teams. A team needs to have great leadership. The most important thing on a team is leadership. We were talking about that today. Without the right trust and leadership, a team will way underperform. So, you know, you've got to be willing. You've got to be a giving person, you know, just like our give and take. You got to be a giver when you're a center of influence. You got to be willing to give a lot of introductions before you get any. Same thing is true. If you're going to be a good leader on a team, you have to first set a strong example. So you work harder, smarter, you get in early, you stay late, you know, you set meetings, you're there first, you know, you show up. That's the most important thing. We call it the bank of trust. You build trust over time by doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And if you are late, you're taking withdrawal from the bank of trust. If you're on time, it's a deposit in the bank of trust. If you don't do what you say you're going to do, it's a withdrawal from the bank of trust. And teams, like marriages, are built on trust and consistently doing what you say you're going to do over time. And with the right combination, teams can be fabulous. With the wrong combination, they're a disaster. So, and they usually break up. So you want to, in building a team, go through our book or other people's books on how to build your team. Don't just go and build a team. Read as much as you can, because you can, it's like marriage. It's a big deal. You have to go into it with your eyes wide open and pick people that you trust and that you like and you admire. And sometimes they're not, it's best if they're not exactly like you are. Teams that communicate well but have different styles are the best kind of teams.
Okay, so you answered the question I will ask after the question before. I will ask, if you were an advisor, what attributes would you look for to choose the best team to join? So you have to a good leadership. You have to trust everyone. You have to communicate very well. So transparency, so you can know what is going on. It's very important.
And other things are competence. You know, we talked about the surgeon. Well, I'd want to join a team where people are very competent people. They're smart, and they knew what they were doing. They had great skills, and especially if they had skills that I didn't have. So there's an analogy that I used with, I don't know if you're familiar with Fargo, North Dakota, but it's a long way up, almost to Canada. And it's very cold in the winter. And it was one of my offices that I'd visit every year. And I'd go snowmobiling with them. And they asked me one time, when are we going to get more specialists visiting us from Minneapolis? I said, never. And they said, what do you mean? I said, this is Fargo, okay? I'm here, but I'm only here once a year, and I'm here because you guys are great and there's great snowmobiling. But don't expect those guys to ever come up here in the winter, okay? They're never coming. They go, wow, wait a minute. And I said, no, that's the reality. So you have to become what I call Fort Fargo. So each one of you needs to become a specialist in an area that you need specialization. So for example, you need a team in there that's specialist in 401ks, retirement plans. You're going to need a specialist in annuities. You're going to need a specialist in mortgages. You're going to need a So I said, you guys all become specialists. Then when the specialist does visit every 2 years or whatever, they can bring you up to date and you can be the expert. But you're not going to need anybody but your own people. And that's the way a team should operate. A team should operate like Fort Fargo, with each member of the team being a specialist in an area that the team needs so that everybody doesn't have to be a specialist. So one of the, we call the other part of organizing the team the 5-star model. So that would be a way of organizing according to product, but this is organizing according to responsibility. So each person takes on a responsibility, and ideally there'd be 5 people on a team. So you would have the director of planning, the director of implementation, the director of brand management, the director of marketing and sales, and the director of leadership. And each one of those is a big job and a big responsibility. If every client with Supernova gets a plan, then the director of leadership, the director of planning needs to really be good at planning, but keep track of the plans and make sure that everybody gets an update to their plan every 2 or 3 years so that you're not getting stale and that the quality of the planning is second to none. Director of implementation's responsibility is to be in charge of everything that once the plan is created, then you've got to implement it. So that would be the investment process, the liability process, the risk management process. All those things are taken care of by the director of implementation. And they're also in charge of what we call the 24-month calendar. So rather than just guessing what we're going to talk about for the next 24 months with our 1242s, we have a schedule for that. And everybody has it, and everybody prepares for it a month in advance. The director of brand management is the Supernova operators, the ones that do the 1242, set up the schedule, handle the schedule, and handle operations and problem solving. And the director of marketing is in charge of growing the practice, helping to grow the practice, coordinating the effort to grow the practice. And the director of leadership is in charge of everything.
It's the CEO.
All the others plus those.
Okay, this is very important to us because here in Brazil we see a lot of enterprise that is a bunch of advisors, and here in Apollo we like to have the directors in every I am the director of marketing now.
Yeah, because everybody on teams, you just have little, one financial advisor, another financial advisor, another financial, and they call themselves a team, but they don't do anything to leverage the team, or there's no specialization, there's no leverage. If you can become very good at something, somebody else doesn't have to be that good at it, and you've got the advantage of then being able to be good at lots of different things.
Okay, I'm happy because here in Apollo we are in the right way. So,
esse vídeo do Mr. Rob Knapp é uma verdadeira aula sobre gestão de um escritório de investimentos. E aqui na Apollo a gente preza por ter essas divisões de tarefas com uma diretoria que libera os nossos assessores para fazer o que é mais importante: prospecção, atendimento e relacionamento com os clientes e prospects. Então, se você é assessor e quer participar de uma estrutura bem organizada, que segue um modelo supernova, como nós seguimos pela proximidade que nós temos com o Rob, venha conhecer mais a Apollo Investimentos. Entre em apolloinvestimentos.com.br, vem ser Apollo, preenche o formulário e troca uma ideia comigo. Vamos conversar um pouco para você entender como a Apollo Investimentos pode fazer você prosperar e crescer muito mais, focando no que você sabe fazer melhor, beleza? Valeu, pessoal. Um grande abraço.